If you look at the SAFe methodology, SAFe was built in terms of providing value and alignment at the entire organization at every level. So if you're looking at DevOps, DevOps talks about quality, getting the development teams and operations together with respect to delivery, having the benefits of continuous integration, continuous deployment, continuous delivery attached to them. So SAFe, I would say, is built on the fundamentals of DevOps. So you cannot have a successful, very strong, high-performing Agile team or an Agile-performing enterprise if they did not follow the fundamentals of DevOps. So DevOps would be implemented more at the team level, at the program level, even at the system team level, and having the demos integrated, being able to deploy sooner to consumers. That's what would entail the framework to be following the DevOps methodology. So SAFe directly goes hand in hand, if you were to ask me, with respect to delivery. I think it's a great question, and I think the way to look at this is SAFe talks about having these joint boundaries and aligned boundaries with respect to delivery. So those are the processes which help you to go on the same cadence. And if you're looking at multiple release trains, the concepts of having DevOps, the concepts of having the technical higher built-in quality is critical. So all the individual teams are supposed to be following the fundamentals of extreme programming, using the concepts of continuous integration, using test-driven development, using behavior-driven development, getting an idea in terms of how are you able to deliver value at the end of the day to consumers in a better way, at a more predictable pace, and most of all, incrementally. I think if you look at the SAFe model, SAFe is one of the very few frameworks which actually allows teams to actually show their delivered product 8 to 10 weeks once the program increment has finished. So when you're looking at that, you need to be in a situation where the system team or the program team responsible for the integrated demo, responsible for aligning all the teams to come in, look at how the codes combine, look at how the code bases interact to deliver a featured product or a finished product. That's only possible if you have automated a bunch of these teams, a bunch of these processes. So once only you reach that point where you have different servers set up for different environments, you're testing them before it actually reaches the end consumer. So SAFe definitely enables them, and I think SAFe sets as a forcing function that once your teams are doing basic Agile, they're having a Scrum Master, a Kanban Master, getting an idea in terms of how things are happening on a day-to-day basis. Once you put the SAFe construct on top of the enterprise, now they're forced to even take their Agile practices to the next level. So I think that's where SAFe is, critical, and DevOps is, the fundamental mode of delivery when you're actually scrumming or delivering incremental value from a product. And I think this is where, SAFe is a framework. SAFe has also come up with the SAFe Lite. SAFe Lite is the lighter version of the entire big picture, the SAFe framework. And one of the things you're seeing is that no two organizations will follow the same SAFe runway. It's just not possible. Each organization is unique, each development team is unique. So what the question about tooling comes in, so if you were talking about continuous integration, you have a bunch of options. If you're talking about continuous deployment, you have a bunch of options. So SAFe does not prescribe any one single tool to use and implement a single push button delivery mode to consumers. It does not. So it's remaining true to the Agile mindset. When Agile came into existence, the question was, well, what do we use for Agile project management? And if you look at right now, we have multiple teams, multiple tools responsible for story pointing, estimation, velocity calculation, burn down, charts, retrospectives, but you don't have one tool leading the space. So by using one tool does not make you more agile, using the other tool does not make you less agile. The same framework is what SAFe is built on. Let's say if you were using one tool for continuous deployment, it does not make you more tailored towards SAFe, or if you're using another tool, it does not make you less geared towards SAFe. So the key takeaway from this entire mindset is that you identify the tools based on what works for your teams. So do we need tools? Absolutely. You're talking about enterprise level adoption. We work with multiple companies, help them out in setting up their CI/CD platforms, helping them deliver value, helping them finish their products, do program increments. So the key takeaway is Do we need tools? Absolutely. Are we going to prescribe one single tool? Absolutely not. It totally depends on what your enterprise is looking for, what your teams are writing code in, what your teams are comfortable with, and eventually how does it all tie in. So that requires a huge discussion between leadership and our coaches and our consultants, our experts who are specializing in DevOps implementation as well as SAFe implementation. So once we find that happy medium, only then we can suggest here's what our undertaking is, and eventually we are able to go ahead and use the appropriate tools for a successful DevOps and SAFe implementation. If you were talking about test automation, test-driven development, TDD, the heavy focus is again at the team level, getting to the point where teams are able to deliver value at the end of every sprint. So if you look in the SAFe model, you have the program increment, 8 to 10 weeks long, sometimes 12 weeks long. But the goal is that it's not phase-driven. It's not 8 weeks of development followed by 8 weeks of testing, because then you're back to the olden times. Then you're back to traditional phase-driven development. So you're going away from Agile. So now what SAFe has proposed is you finish everything within that 2-week time period. Finish everything, including testing, including test-driven development, within that 8 to 10 week PI planning or PI increment block. So once you have done that, only then you can reap the maximum dividends of such a methodology. So SAFe is heavily focused on, built on the fundamentals of Agile Manifesto. And one of the key techniques and key ways of Scrum and Agile initially was, hey, you're bringing everything together. Your feedback loop will involve everything. So it follows on the same mindset, the same definition of done, that your work is not complete till the time it reaches the consumer. And it takes it one level further, that it's not only testing, but it involves actual deployment, actually operating your product for consumers. So that's where DevOps comes into existence. So you will use this, you start from the basic level 1 of Agile, move up, become into the phases of CI, CD, get into the DevOps world, and then you're really moving into operating at a different scale. And then when you reach portfolio alignment, that's when you have the whole triangle of SAFe. I think it's a very, very valid question. People hear these terms. A lot of certifications exist, a lot of classes exist, a lot of industry experts are present. So as far as help is needed, you have a lot of options. What's important to understand is you need to assess where the organization is. So the trajectory or the journey for somebody who's Agile already, who's scrumming at the team levels, from them moving to DevOps to SAFe is going to be different than somebody who delivers software once every 2 months or 2 years in that certain cases. So if your releases are year long, then your journey is going to be much more different, and you would have to start from way further down where you would start implementing Agile first. Once you have delivered on Agile, then you would get the teams educated on continuous integration, continuous deployment. Once you have put that out there, once you have the buy-in from the team and program level, only then you can align the portfolio. So that is going to be totally dependent on where your organization is. But if your team is doing Agile right now, we strongly suggest the next step is to take it to the DevOps level, be able to go ahead and with a push of a button, be able to deploy, run all your integration tests, unit tests, everything automated. So the transition is seamless. Will you require a lot of experts? That's where we come in. And hopefully, eventually that reaches to the point where the program level, the portfolio level, the value stream level can also be aligned and identify those change agents who will serve as the technical best practices experts in the organization, as well as change management experts. So our goal would be to help you out in helping your organization reach maximum potential benefits of faster delivery, of incremental delivery, increased quality, and most of all, knowledge worker engagement. That's one of the key challenges we face, is building these individuals who are living in a world where they want to be in a place where they're wowing the customers. And SAFe and DevOps joined together allows you to reach that.